It's been almost a year since the first cases of COVID-19 were reported in Wuhan, China. The World Health Organization declared it a pandemic in March 2020, and countries around the world have been working hard to develop a vaccine and to stop the spread of this deadly disease. But how close are we to actually finding a cure? When can we expect a vaccine to be made available, and how effective is it going to be? Here's everything you need to know about the COVID-19 vaccine. Firstly, there's no shortage of research and development when it comes to the coronavirus. It is believed that more than 150 vaccines are currently in development across the globe. However, before any of them can be made public, they must first go through a 3-stage clinical trial and then be approved by health regulation agencies. This can be a very lengthy process, and often takes years to complete. That said, the urgent need for a COVID-19 vaccine has seen researchers speed up testing, and many trial phases have been running simultaneously. As a result, some companies believe they are very close to producing an end product. Trials in Russia and the United States in particular have shown a lot of promise. The US government's Operation Warp Speed initiative is aiming to deliver 300 million doses of an effective vaccine as soon as January 2021. We should be wary of such promises though, as developing a new vaccine comes with many potential problems. Reports suggest that US President Donald Trump had been trying to push for a cure before the US election, as this would have gained him a lot of support from voters. Trump has made many bold and outrageous claims regarding the treatment of COVID-19 in the past, and some people fear that an unsafe vaccine could be rushed for political reasons. Now that he's lost the election, that's less of a concern, but the pressure is still on for the scientists undertaking this hugely difficult task. Trials of the so-called CoronaVac shot produced by Sinovac Biotech Limited were stopped in Brazil recently after a participant died in a traffic accident. Some say the volunteer had experienced side effects from the vaccine, possibly vertigo or dizziness, and that this may have led to the accident. Others suggest that the crash was completely unrelated, and that the trials may have been halted for political motivation, as local elections were due to take place soon after. This is because being mayor or an elected official when a successful vaccine is finally announced is going to bring a lot of prestige and support for whoever is in charge. While politics shouldn't be a hurdle in developing the cure for a pandemic, sadly in some countries like Brazil, where there have been over 5.6 million infections, it may prove to be. On a brighter note, the researchers and scientists developing the vaccines are doing some amazing work. The results of 3 separate trials published in recent weeks have been getting a lot of attention. One is a collaboration between the American company Pfizer and the German company BioNTech. Their COVID-19 vaccine has proven to be 90% effective in tests involving more than 43,000 people. Another is Russia's Sputnik V vaccine, which saw protection rates of 92% in tests of 16,000 volunteers. In addition, there's the Moderna vaccine, also from America, which has so far proven to be the most effective at protecting against the coronavirus, with a 95% protection rate in a study involving 30,000 individuals. The way these vaccines work is by injecting snippets of a virus's genetic material, in this case messenger RNA or mRNA, into human cells. This prompts the body's immune system to recognize the virus and to produce antibodies. Then, if a patient gets infected with coronavirus in future, the antibodies are triggered and T cells are activated to seek out and destroy any infected cells. There are various factors to consider when it comes to bringing a vaccine to market though. For example, the Moderna vaccine is much easier to store and to transport, since it can be kept at -20 degrees Celsius for up to 6 months, compared to -75 degrees Celsius required for the vaccine from Pfizer and BioNTech. There are also differences in the frequency of doses needed. One requires 2 injections 3 weeks apart, while the other requires a gap of 4 weeks between injections. All of this makes a big difference in how easily the vaccines can be administered to the public. Moderna expects to produce 20 million doses in the US by the end of the year, and aims to deliver at least 500 million doses per year beginning in 2021. Pfizer, meanwhile, has signed a $2 billion contract with the US government, and if the drug is approved, it hopes to supply 1.3 billion doses by the end of 2021. Other nations have already started to place orders with the American companies. The UK, for example, has announced a deal for 5 million doses of the Moderna vaccine, which is enough to vaccinate 2.5 million people. The country has stated it plans to prioritise the treatment of its oldest and most vulnerable citizens. As for the rest of the world, some poorer countries may be priced out of the market to begin with, which is a concern because developing countries are at particular risk from the impacts of COVID-19. However, global organisations such as the CEPI, Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, and Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, are working on producing and distributing vaccines worldwide. Their aim is to ensure that products reach the most disadvantaged regardless of wealth or status. In summary, while it may seem like it's been a long time coming, there are plenty of reasons to be optimistic that a COVID-19 vaccine will be made available in the near future. Until that time, we must all remain vigilant, continue to stay strong, and keep up our efforts to limit the spread of this coronavirus. For more information, a link to the World Health Organization website can be found in the description below. If you found this video helpful, be sure to leave a like and share it with your friends. You can also subscribe to our channel and stay up to date by clicking the bell icon and turning on notifications. As always, thanks for watching and we'll see you again next time.